Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. In today's video, as you can see from the title down below and the makeup that I've got on right now, I'm going to be talking you through one of my favourite looks that I've ever done. I have created a green, sparkly, incredible wing. This is so Christmassy. This is so perfect for a Christmas party, for Christmas Day, if that's the kind of look that you go for. So if you want to see all of the products that I'm using and how I created this eye look, then just keep on watching. I feel like I've tried to do something a little bit more interesting with my hair, and I look a little bit like Mickey Mouse, but I don't mind. Anyway, I'm going to be starting with the base. I want a really glowy, flawless base, so I'm going to go in with the Collection Filter Finish Primer. This is in the shade Fair 1 and I'm going to be quite targeted with it. I don't want to look sweaty and I also want this to last really well, so I'm just going to keep it sort of on the outsides of the face and like everywhere else where you would put a highlighter, and then it'll just peek out behind your foundation and just make you look extra glowy, but hopefully not too sweaty looking. So I'll just blend this in with a brush like I always do. This is just like a stippling brush. It's like a dual fibre one from Revolution Pro, but it works really well for these like liquidy products. Like, look how glowy and beautiful that is. Juicy. And then of course for foundation, I'm going in with the Revolution IRL Filter Foundation. This is in the shade F3, so I'm going to do like 1.5 pumps because I want this to be really flawless. And I'm going to work it in with my Real Techniques Seamless Complexion brush and just start working this in all over. I do also have a sponge here. I will probably use that afterwards. So that is all of that blended in with a brush, so you get really great coverage. It looks really like blanked out, really full coverage, really flawless. And then I'm just going to take the teeny tiny little bit that I've got left on the back of my hand on my sponge. This is the EcoTools Bio Blender sponge, so they're completely biodegradable and they are by far my favourite sponges. They're absolutely fantastic. I'm just going to bounce over all of this just to make sure it's fully blended and completely flawless. I do think I prefer the finish of this foundation with a sponge rather than a brush. This just adds a little bit more hydration back in because it is quite a matte foundation and my skin is calling out for all the hydration recently. For concealer, I'm just going to put a little bit around my eyes. This is the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer in the shade 4 Extra Fair. This is like my lighter shade, so this is what I use like around my eyes and to highlight. 5 would be like the perfect colour for on my face, but I want to just brighten this whole area a little. So just tap a little bit of that in and then with my brush, keep that quite sort of precisely around my eyes rather than blending it out too far. So when I've blended all of that out with that brush, just with whatever I've got left, I'm just sort of going over my problem areas, the areas that I feel like I need a little bit more coverage, down the sides of my nose, across the cheeks, etc. But I don't want too much more product, so I already feel like I've got plenty on. I am going to be like alternating between doing a layer and then adding a setting spray. So this is the e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. By far my favourite setting mist I've ever used. Let me get my hair out the way. It's so fine. It feels like absolutely nothing, but it's so nice and hydrating. It's such a beautiful mist and I don't have that much left. I need to get a new one. So I'm quickly just going to go and do my brows before I move on to the rest of the face. So I'm using the XX Revolution Faux Brow. I have this in the shade Medium Brown and the Brunette e.l.f. Wow Brow. So I'll be right back when I've got some brows on. I'm just going to tap a little bit of setting powder around like the centre of my face so that it is really nicely set down. So that it doesn't look too like greasy down the centre of my face, and then I will move on to the coloured base products, bronzer, etc. So for bronzer, I'm going to go with the Maybelline City Bronzer. This is in the shade Medium Cool 200, and I'm going to use the Real Techniques blush brush. This is such a fantastic brush for covering a large area, applying a decent amount of blusher and bronzer. I do use this for both, but also because it's quite pointed, you can also be quite precise with it. So I'm going to just start warming up all around the outsides of my face, also under the cheeks. Because this is slightly cooler, I find that it does the job of a contour and a bronzer all at the same time, which is incredibly handy. And I just really like the undertone of this one. It just warms up the skin a really nice amount, but without it looking really orange. It looks really natural. And I also really like this brush because you can pinch it and make it sort of long and thin. You can also do your nose contour with it, which I don't contour my nose. I just add a little bit of colour to the sides, just so that there is that little bit of colour further into my face as well. But all around, just a really amazing brush to have in your collection. Then I'm going to use exactly the same brush for my blusher. This is the Revolution Blusher Reloaded in Rhubarb and Custard. So it's a fairly light shade, but it's warmer. That's what I want. I don't want anything that's too cool and like hot pink. I wanted something that would bring a nice bit of colour to the skin to tie in nicely with that a slightly more cool tone bronzer. And then for highlights, I'm going in with my favourite highlighter of all time, the one that I wore on my wedding day. It is absolutely perfection. This is the Revolution Highlighter Reloaded in Just My Type, and I will just swirl the brush around in there, tap it off a little, and just watch. Like, it's just natural, but also blinding. Like, it's definitely there. It's definitely glowy, but it's not at all chunky or glittery or too icy or too warm. Like, if you are my sort of skin tone, if you are like usually the lightest shade or like the second lightest shade in like foundations and things, you need this. Because usually I find that highlighters for my skin tone are straight up white, but I don't want that. I want a little bit of like warmth. I want a little bit of a warmer undertone, and this is just perfect. And that is the base done. So you can like stop here, go ahead, do whatever eyeshadow look you want. Obviously I'm going quite bold with my eyeshadow look today. I appreciate that it's not for everyone, but this is where I'm going with the look. So I'm going to start with the Beauty Bay Neutrals palette. This is the 42 pan, and I have used this a ton on my channel already, so I will link a playlist up here where I talk about all of my Beauty Bay palettes, swatching them and all of that good stuff. But today I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush, and I want something more warm in the crease, so I'm going to go in with Pony, this shade up on the top row, and this is a matte, and I'm going to work this into the crease and like slightly above the crease to add in that shadow. I also find that adding in like a warmer shade like this when you have blue eyes just really makes them pop, and I like that. I'm also taking this Pony shade right on the very tip of the brush. I'm going to look up into my mirror and just smoke this out along the lower lash line. Again, just to add that warmth near my eyes to really accentuate the colour. And every time I'm going in and like adding a little bit more, I'm really blending it out. I want this to be a really faint wash of colour, but I do want it to be slightly darker, slightly more intense on the outer corner, and I'm also sort of starting to create that shape that I want on the outer corner. And I will of course follow it with a liquid liner and a liquid glitter. because that's what we're doing today. So I'm going to just dip in a tiny little bit with the same brush, but just right on the very end, into Pecan, which is a darker brown, but also it has that warmth in it. And I'm just going to stamp this on the outer corner, and then once I've got that colour on and there's nothing left on the brush, start working that through the crease again, just to add that tiny little bit more dimension. So I'm happy with those two colours. Obviously that is like nothing, it's just a wash of like a warm brown. Then I'm going to go in with a black liquid liner. Now I have tested this look, I've tested the products on the back of my hand to see which combination of products works best, and this is the best one that I own. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour matte liquid liner. This is the black one, and I'm going to do a very big, very dramatic wing, really thick and dark. So I will just do that and then I'll be back to show you the next step. So that's the wing on, and obviously you could leave it just at a black wing, but we're adding a teal glitter. So this is the Beauty Bay liquid eyeshadow in the shade Malachite. I looked up how to say it, and what I'm going to do is, firstly, I have let this completely dry. This has been on for like 5-10 minutes, and so that is completely dry now, which is very, very important. You don't want to put this over the top of anything that's wet. And I'm going to get closer to my mirror, look down into my mirror, and with the very tip of the applicator, dab this along. And you'll notice that I have in my hand a very tiny little pencil brush, the smallest pencil brush that I have, and I'm tapping this on all over the areas that I can get to with the applicator. And it doesn't matter if you sort of get this all over or under your eye like I have there. And then I'll just blend this out with that tiny little brush. And you do actually have quite a bit of wiggle time with these liquid eyeshadows. That is like one of the reasons why I love them. They're so easy to use and easy to apply. I'm just going to take, I have this tiny little brush which is called All in the Deets, and it's a teeny tiny little like liner brush. I'm just going to get a little bit of the product on that brush just to get right into the inner corner. I needed something a little bit thinner. Oh, that's easier actually just with that little liner brush. I'll just go over all of that with some more product on that liner brush. And then whilst that is still damp on my eyes, I'm just going to make sure I keep my eyes looking down. Once that's set, it will be absolutely fine, but I just want to make sure that that doesn't like transfer up into my crease. So I'll do it the other side whilst that's all setting. So I just got that tiny little bit that went under my eyes, but how amazing does that look when that like catches the light? It's just the most incredible colour, and as soon as I saw it on the Beauty Bay website I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to just add lashes, mascara and fake eyelashes. Don't know which lashes I'm going to use yet, but I will be right back once I've done that. I almost feel like I don't want lashes because I don't want to cover up this incredible colour, but also like I have to, like I need lashes on this look. So I'll be right back when I've got mascara and lashes on. Okay, so the lashes are on. I used the Maybelline Lash Sensational and a random pair of half lashes that I just found on my table, so couldn't tell you what they were. I'm also going to be talking extra loud so that you can hear me over the top of the leaf blower that has just turned up next door. I lost a whole day last week to waiting for this leaf blower guy to leave, so I'm just going to talk louder so that you can hear me over the top. It has been quite a while since the last little bit of video. I have a cup of tea, so let's just finish off the look. For the lips, I'm going to go in with the Revolution Satin Kiss Lip Liner, but not that one. I'm going in with Icon, which is like a pinky and nudier colour, and then I'm doing a gloss, so I'll just overdraw the lips a little. And I did already have a lip balm on, and I haven't wiped that off. I'm just leaving that on under the lip liner so that it's extra balmy and moisturising and lovely. I'm also just scribbling in the lips a little bit with this lip liner, and then I'm going in with the Soap and Glory Sexy Mother Pucker liquid like lip gloss thing in Bare Enough, and I'm just going to tap that on over the top. These are quite sheer, so that's why I put that lip liner all over the lips. That extra little bit of colour. And then I think just a tiny little bit more bronzer, so the Maybelline City Bronzer, just a tiny little bit more of that to warm up the cheeks a little bit more. And then I think I'm done. Yes, that's better, but I tell you what I do need, an inner corner highlight. Can't believe I missed that. So going back into this neutrals palette, and I have really been enjoying mixing Ice, this lightest white shade, and Saddle, this shade, which is like iridescent and it's a little bit warmer. So those two mixed together make the perfect inner corner highlight. Like, just look at the difference. It's the tiniest little like finishing touch, but I just feel like that makes the biggest difference. And obviously it's Christmas, so all of the glitter is welcome. And that is me done. I am ready for my Christmas party on the sofa of my living room with my cat, because that is the only Christmas party that I'll be going to this year. So I'll just, oh, I've got a line in my hair from my hair clip. That was not the look I was going for. Yeah, I think I am done. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. You could definitely do this look with so many different colours over the top of that black liquid liner. You could do a silver, that's like really trendy at the minute. You could do a gold, you could do a red or a purple. Like, you could do any colour, whatever colour you wanted to, you could do over the top of that black liner and make it into a really festive, glittery, amazing look. I love how this has turned out. Let me know in the comment section down below what colour you would choose to do with this. Obviously this is like the colour for me. This is the colour of the season for me. I absolutely love it, and I actually think with the lashes on over the top, that like dials it down a little bit and makes it just a little bit more like wearable. Like, the colour isn't so intense, but it's definitely still there and you definitely see it when you blink. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If there's any other Christmassy looks that you want to see, then do let me know down below. I was hoping to post like 12 days of Christmas. I've been having some technical issues with my laptop, so I don't actually know when this video is going to be going up. Hopefully it will be up in time for Christmas, but thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe down below, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!